and we'll post it probably the night of the class. So once we get going, I will, you'll just see those every week. So let me begin. I will probably be joined by a couple more of your colleagues on this first night. I do recognize this is an asynchronous class, which means that you technically don't have to be here as long as you view the videos and all like that. But it really adds to the class if you can be here, and I really do appreciate it. It's nice to see your smiling faces as well. I promise you this will be a great semester. It is your summer semester, which means that we will be finishing up in 10 weeks versus the normal 15. So we've got a lot to do. The good news is, though, when I went and checked, all of you have completed the CAP. I believe, as there's one that I did not get to check, but I believe all of you have completed the CAP. So the only thing you have left is the PSYOP. One of you has even completed that, and then you have the rest of the things in task stream. So this will be a very quick semester for you. All right, so let's get started. And by the way, I have to take attendance, and I will tell you about that now while we're doing it. I know Gardner Webb, probably about 2 semesters ago in the middle of COVID, said that professors, you have to take attendance. And the purpose for attendance was mostly for those who are on campus here so that they can know who is here, or it was basically a COVID response. So we can look after each other on campus. But it applied, because it applied to the undergraduates, it also applied to those of us in the graduate program. All right, so that's it. I do take attendance all 10 nights. I will be, you'll see me writing down who's here and who's not. And at the end, I will go in and I will complete the attendance module. Now, you may not have experienced this before, but when I mark you absent for class tonight, if you are absent, you will get an email from Gardner Webb saying, why were you absent? Now, that's just the way Gardner Webb was using to keep up with the COVID. So when you get that, if you miss a class, and again, I realize this is asynchronous. So if you miss a class and you get that email, don't worry about it. All you've got to do is watch the video that will be posted later on that night. And if you do, just shoot me an email telling me that you have watched the video, and then I'll go back and mark you present. Okay, so attendance is not that important, except that I have to do it for Gardner Webb. The way around that is if you're not here, you watch the video, then I'm fine. Just shoot me an email, say, hey, watch the video. It was wonderful. You should be in the movies. I will be okay, and I will mark you present. All right, Angela Page, welcome. I don't have an Angela Page on my roster, so I'm assuming you may be somebody else.
Angela Furness.
Oh, did you change your name, Angela? Do I need to change your name?
Yes, I got married in February.
Congratulations. Well, let me change your name.
Thank you.
Does the registrar know that?
Right now, Furnace is fine. Okay. Furnace is fine right now. Until I get all of my paperwork switched out, okay, as far as Social Security and things of that nature. All right.
Well, Angela, before you finish this course, you make sure the registrar in Gardner Webb knows it, because you would want your name on your diploma, or not your diploma, your certificate and your diploma. You'd want that licensure information correct the first time, because if not, you're going to have to pay to have it. When you do changes, you have to pay to have it changed. So sometime during the semester,
okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
You might want to jump on that. All right, so that's it. Attendance, try to be here. If you're not, you'll get an email. Watch the video. Let me know, and I'll go back and mark you present. All right, so there are 17 of us in this class. 16 of you, one of me. Our coach is Dr. Bullis, who I believe you probably have had all the semesters. So, and I know he's wonderful. Dr. Bullis will be joining us, I believe, next week to talk about the PSYOP, and then he will join us one more time to talk about the last projects that you have to do in task stream. Just remember, you have one big project that you have to do, or evidence, and that is the PSYOP. That's the 6 tasks of the PSYOP, which he'll talk with you about. And then there are 5 things that you have to do in task stream before the end of this semester in order to get a license from the state of North Carolina. If you've not been told before, task stream is how we identify, or we send information to the state that verifies that you have met the requirements for your licensure. And so you have one thing for this course, and then there are 5 other things that you have to complete before you finish and graduate from Gardner Webb. You are summer graduates. We don't have a summer commencement, so that means you won't get to march across the stage. I believe you'll be invited back for the winter commencement, but you will be a summer graduate. And at Gardner-Webb, we have a different definition for graduation and commencement. Most of you think of it, because I do, of the same thing. We graduation, we have commencement. Graduation is when you finish the coursework and you get certified by Gardner-Webb. That means you got the master's. Commencement is when you get the hood, when you march across the stage and everybody takes a picture and you get the hood. So you are summer graduates, or you will be, and you'll be winter commencement if they do it like they did last year and invite you back for that. All right. So welcome everybody. Let me introduce myself. I am Steve Stone. I am an associate professor here at Gardner-Webb. I've been here now for going on 3 years. And prior to that, I was 20 years a superintendent in North Carolina. I served in 3 school districts in the state. I started off my career as a superintendent over in Hertford County. Anybody know where Hertford County is? It's a Husky. It's on the northeast border, right near Elizabeth City. I was there for 4 years as a superintendent. And then I was a superintendent in Edgecombe County for 4 years. That's Tarboro, Rocky Mount. And then 12 years as a superintendent over in Caldwell County, which is between Hickory and Boone on 321. Altogether, I have about 37 years in public education. I spent a great number of being a principal and assistant principal. So I am delighted to be a part of this class with you and to share anything that I may have. I am full-time here. I spend half my time in the master's program and the other half I spend in the doctoral program. So if you ever have any questions about next steps, or if you decide that you might want to take that next step and work on your doctorate, I'll be more than glad to give you information about that. I teach the beginning course in the doctoral program here at Gardner-Webb, and I teach one of the ones at the end. And I also serve as a dissertation coach for a lot of people. So let me just say, if you, as you breathe after you get this master's, and if you decide that the doctorate may be the next step, reach out to us. Gardner-Webb has a great program. All right, real quickly, I'm going to ask you to very quickly, I know you're doing your videos. I'm going to be viewing those. You already know each other, but I don't. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, and I'm going to call you by name, by the role. So I want you to introduce yourself, tell me who you are and where you are. Okay? All right, so Jesse, Barry.
Hey, I'm Jessica Berry. I work in Caldwell County Schools as a preschool itinerant teacher.
Awesome. Guy.
Hey guys, my name is Guy Bowers. I'm in Davison County at Central Davison High School, and I am a business education teacher.
All right. Is it Orlando?
Yes, sir. I am Orlando Brickhouse. I work in Craven County Schools. I work at Bridgeton Elementary, and I am a pre-K/kindergarten teacher.
Yay. I love pre-K. Angela Page. Can't hear you. You're muted, Angela. I'll come back. Don't let me...
hold on. I have it now.
All right.
Okay. Angela Furnace Page. I'm in South Carolina. I am a 5th grade teacher at Dillon County School District 4.
Awesome. So you're my first South Carolina I've had. All right. So Cynthia.
Cynthia Gary. I teach in Charleston, South Carolina, Charleston County School District. I teach 3rd grade.
All right. Carly.
Hi, my name is Carly Gudrum. I presently work at Durham Public Schools. I currently teach at Sherwood Githens Middle School, where I'm a special education teacher, working inclusion in the 7th grade classroom.
All right. Janji.
Hello, everyone. I'm Janji Hamby. I am in Guilford County Schools. I am the 5th grade virtual teacher this year.
Ooh, virtual. I love it. All right, Janie.
I'm Janie Hamrick. I'm in Richland School District 2, and I'm at Blythewood Middle School, and I'm an 8th grade science teacher.
All right, Bronson.
Yes, I'm Bronson Honeycutt. I'm in Buncombe County in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm a PE teacher at Glen Arden Elementary.
All right. And Clint, are you here, Clint? I didn't see Clint. All right, Deborah.
Hi, oh, I'm Debbie Parrish, and I am from Wake County Public Schools, and I'm the Curriculum and Instructional Management Coordinator at Broughton High School.
Debbie, I have I have 6 grandchildren in the Wake County Public School system. I've got
Oh, great.
Oh, I love Wake County. I was in Wake County, by the way, as a principal and assistant principal for a number of years.
I really, what schools?
I was at East Wake,
Yeah.
Northwoods Elementary, Fuquay-Varina Elementary, and Pleasant Union Elementary.
One of our assistant principals was at East Wake for a while.
Oh, wow. Great school.
Yep. It's a
All
great
right.
school system.
It is. Lionel. Mr. Perry, are you there? I'll come back, Mr. Perry. Chad?
Yes, good evening, Chad Provide. I also teach in Buncombe County Schools here in Asheville at Clyde A. Irwin High School. I am a junior ROTC instructor at the largest junior ROTC program in Western North Carolina.
All right. What branch of the service?
Army.
Army. We had Navy at Caldwell County. All right, Jennifer Ross.
Hey, I'm Jennifer Ross. I'm in Henderson County at Hendersonville Elementary as a Title I reading specialist. Just this year because we lost it for next year, so I'm going back to kindergarten.
Yeah, I saw that in your video. I'm sorry to hear that. Jamal.
I'm Jamal Souls. I currently work for Rival City Schools, and I'm the 6th grade social studies teacher at Central Middle School.
And Christy.
I'm Christy Warwick, and I work in Edgecombe County Public School System. I currently work as a kindergarten teacher at Bullock, and next year I'll be moving up with my kindergartners to 1st grade.
Awesome. I love me some Edgecombe County and Caldwell. I've got 2 of you that are in districts that I served in. It's been a long time since I've been in Edgecombe. So welcome everybody. Mr. Perry, did you?
Hey, how you doing? Mr. Dr. Stone.
Yes.
This is Linnell Perry. I have pretty bad connection right now, but my name is Linnell Perry. I work in Edgecombe County, same county you mentioned, the superintendent at. I am a social studies teacher in the history department at Tarboro High School.
Oh, you guys have the wonderful football program.
We just want to stay again.
I know. Gosh, I am so impressed. I did not know that there were so many homecomings here. And so somebody said Clint's trying to get in, so we'll let him know when he comes in. All right, so there's Clint. Look at this. We have perfect attendance tonight. This is what I like. You guys are wonderful. So when Clint comes in, Clint, you want to introduce yourself very quickly?
Hey, I'm Clint McElrath. I am currently at a track meet, so you can see here.
Yeah.
Sorry about coming in a little bit late. So
no problem. And you are in what county?
I'm in Buncombe County.
Buncombe. And you are high school?
Yes.
All right. Nice to meet you, Clint.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. So I'm going to thank you all for being here on time. I'm going to go ahead and share. Are there any questions for me before I start jumping right into it?
I have a question. The Zoom sessions, are you going to always email them to us right before, or are you going to have them put in our course shell?
I will show you that, but I will try to remember to always email them to you. By the way, everybody, if you want to go to your Blackboard shell, I want to walk over it really quickly with you, some couple of things, but your Zoom invitations will be always here. It's the same one. It's the same one for every night. And if you're looking in your Blackboard shell, you click on Zoom invitation. If you ever lose it, there it is. I use the same one always. I do not put them with the individual class because they're here. So just there's your Zoom invitation there. All right, so let me talk about your Blackboard shell. I know you've had this a million times. I know you probably are so tired of seeing Blackboard, but this is your last time for the master's program anyway. So a couple of things in Blackboard, and I am on the shell itself. Please go in and do this employment verification activity. That's a requirement. You need to do that as soon as you hang up with me tonight if you have not already done that. Here's a little bit of information about me with my contact information. That is my personal private cell phone number. So I do go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. Usually try to get up around 9. I don't have to get up as early as you all do. So being that college professor in the ivory tower, I can sleep a little bit later. So please try to do your calls between, if you need me. But if you need me anytime, you can call me. But generally, I prefer the 9 a.m. to the 10 p.m. on my cell. There's a little introductory from me video as well. Some information about the course. I do want to call your attention to this. This will be the grading scale. I do not give A pluses, A minuses. I give an A, a B, or C. And the A is based on 90%, the B is based on 80, and the C is on 70%. So you'll see this, and I'll remind you occasionally. I do want to remind you some very important dates that Dr. Lamb went over with you, or some of you last night. These are your task stream dates. By July 19th, you have to have all 6 of your task stream. You have to have your PSYOP, because all of you have completed everything else. By July 19th, that is my only hard deadline, and that's the one from the university, or from the department. July 19th by 9 a.m., you need to have all 6 tasks from the PSYOP in task stream. The following week, you need to do those other things. You need to make sure you have your disposition, your competency analysis, and all of this stuff will be that Dr. Bullis will talk with you about. If you have not already applied for graduation, please do that tonight as well. I've attached the syllabus. I've got some other information as well. If you are interested in the doctoral program here, there's a little recruitment video there as well. So that's, and the textbooks, where are they? Oh, here they are. Those are the 2 textbooks. I would encourage you, if you can buy used ones, please do. Both of them are great books, but they probably are not something you're going to be picking up reading every semester for the rest of your life. So if you can buy them new or anything, feel free to do so. All right, so looking at my Blackboard shell, going over here to the side, I want to call your attention to a couple of things. And I tried to make this as simple as possible for you. Anything above these 2 lines is really stuff that's kind of relevant. Here is your task stream schedule. Here's what I recommend that you do. So let's look at this for a moment. Remember, the only thing that you have to do for this course is the PSYOP in 605. So I have some dates, and they're not hard, fast dates, but if you are pacing yourself and trying to keep up, this is a good suggested timeline for you to turn in things. Now, where do you turn them in? We'll talk about that in a minute, but until you turn in, you will turn in tasks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a final PSYOP to me, and you turn that into Blackboard, and here's where you turn it in under course assessments. Once I have approved it, and I make sure that it looks like it's as close to a 4 as we can get, then I will send you an email, or I will let you know to send it on to task stream. But I want to give you each one of these, task 1, task 2, they're all worth 200 points. So all those go under course assessment. And then these are the things that Dr. Bullis will be talking with you about that go into task stream. They're the textbooks, some interim materials. Here is your Zoom link. This is the link that we'll use forever and a day. Now, the last things I want to show you are assignments, course assessments, and team presentations, because these are the go-to first things you go when you go to this shell. You do have things to turn in this course. Everything that I require is either going to be, for grade, is going to be under assessments or assignments or course assessments. So someone asked me a little bit earlier, what are the assignments? Well, here they are. And all you got to do is, you know about Blackboard, just click on them. They go to me. You have 8 assignments. You have 4 scenarios. You have 1 marketing plan. And then there is also a digital competencies presentation and peer review, which we'll go over shortly. But everything that you need to turn in to me are for the Blackboard grades will be under assignments. The other place that has stuff for you to do, which has to do with your PSYOP, is here under course assessments. They're all over here on the side, right together. I don't have them spread out. So these are the 2 things that you need to look at. When you have finished task 1, send it to me. I'll give you a 200 on it if it looks great. If not, and by the way, anything that you turn into me, you have multiple attempts to turn them in. So if I come back and give you 190 and say, can you add this? add it, send it back, you'll get the 200. All right. But each one of the tasks needs to be turned in individually, and it would do me a favor if you would turn them in individually. So don't put tasks 1 and 2 together. Just send me 1, then send me 2. When you put it together for the final paper, at that point, I am looking for whether or not it meets the criteria for formatting for Blackboard, for TaskStream. So here's where you add stuff. So I just want to make really clear, if you're looking for things to do this weekend, look under assignments or get started under course assessments. Now, the other big project that we will be doing in this class is your peer review as well as your team. I do put you into teams. And let me just also say, different from the other courses, I do not require you to have teams. We all work together as a class. So you don't have to do, you do one peer review, and I'll talk about it in a second. We work in team, you only work in a team for one team, one time. So we don't have any of that peer review stuff that you have to turn into Blackboard. It's all here under team presentations. So if you click on that, you get a good feel for when you are the team and when you are the reviewers. So you next week, not next week, but the third week of this class, we begin with the student demonstrations. And what I'm doing is I'm having you look at the 5 North Carolina digital competencies for administrators. And each competency has some elements to it. So and I'm going to go over in a second, but so you can find where you are. Everyone has been assigned to a team. So here are your teammates. So at some point, you need to collaborate, the 4 or the 3 of you collaborate and say, all right, who's going to kind of keep us going? Because I'm not going to have a set aside time for you to meet. You're going to have to meet outside of the class. So if I were team 1, Jessica, Chad, Janie, I would, did I get everybody? And Gary. Are these last names? Yeah, these are last names. Cynthia, yeah. Yeah. All right, so I think I've got this right. If you all see an error, please let me know. But everybody's assigned to a team. There's either 3 of you or 4 on you. Team 1 has 4 because you get to go first. Now, you will do a 20-minute presentation, team 1, on June the 1st. I'll kick us off at 6 o'clock, and about 6:10, I will turn it over to the team, and the 4 of you will do a presentation on the digital competency 1. Now, your presentation is designed to, you can either think of it as one of 2 things. You are interviewing for a position, or you are presenting to a PLC team. So we'll go over the details. Now, while these 4 people are presenting, 3 of you will be doing the peer review. There is a form that you will have to turn in for 100 points. You get 100 points for your presentation and 100 points for your peer review. So there is a form that you will be turning in when you do the peer review. So everyone should be assigned a team to do your presentation, and these are the team members who are doing the presentation, and these are the team members who are doing the peer review. So the digital standards are right above, everything's under team presentation. So if you want to know what the North Carolina digital competencies are, there are 5 of them. And when they download, you'll see that each, this isn't it. All right, so here they are. There's vision, digital competency 1, there's vision and strategy, and there are 4 elements under vision and strategy. There's the first, and these are called, that's the strategy, or that's the competency, vision and mission. These are the 4 elements that relate to that competency. The second one, content and instruction. Third one, capacity, human capacity. 4th, so on. So there are the 5 of them. This is not, this should be gone. I forgot to erase that, so I'll get that out of the way. All right, so these are the digital competencies. Now, going back, again, I'm under team presentation. So you've got to determine which one of the competencies you are the team on. There they are. Now, here's what I want you to do when you are, here's how the team presentation is going to be. And I'll talk about this again next week. All right, if you're doing the peer review for team one, like if I am Deborah, Janji, or Jamal, the week one, I'm going to pull up the template for your feedback. And when that comes up, the three of you have to complete this form. Now, everyone has to send me the form. If you decide to work on it together, awesome. You don't have to do it that night. You just have to turn it in at some point. So if I were the three of you, I would just say, okay, let's work on this together and send in one thing for everybody. All right. So you're basically just giving me feedback on organization, content, presentation, and your feedback. This feedback only goes to me. It will not go to the team that's presenting. All right. So that's where you pull up your, that's the feedback form. So that's for the team that has to do the feedback form. Now, for those of you that are doing the presentation, here's what I want you to do. All right, and again, if you're looking for where I am over here under team presentations, team presentation. I have three, right under peer review, there are three different data points. There's an advanced ed snapshot, there's a school report card, and there's a school teacher working conditions survey. So when you pull those up, you have three different data points. Now, what's different between this and the projects that you've been doing in Mels so far is you've been looking at your school. I'm giving you a brand new school to look at. And I'm giving you their advanced ed, I'm giving you their school report card, and I'm giving you their teacher working conditions survey. And so you are interviewing for a job or either talking to a PLC about digital competency 1, which was what, vision? And you are using those three data points to say, here's what we are doing well, and here's what we need to do better at. Okay? So you are getting three data points from an individual school, and you are using it and tying it back to whichever one of the digital competencies that you are responsible for. Any questions? We will talk about this again next week, I promise you. The thing that you need to do at this point is, if I were the four of you here on this team, I would start collaborating about when can we get together, when can we do a Zoom with each other. So just identify which team you're on and start thinking about it. I would go ahead and make you a hard copy, or at least downloading these three data points, because you are going to be talking from those. All right, and what you're looking for are weaknesses and strengths, and trying to make recommendations to improve digital competency 1 vision. In the area of vision for the digital competency, what can we do better? What are we doing well on? So you're kind of presenting to the PLC, or you're interviewing for a job. All right, next week, I'm going to open up this example that someone else has already done. I will open it up if you want to look at that. All right, so let me reiterate. Everything for grade is in these three categories right here: assignments, course assessments, and team presentations. Following that, you have the class schedule. And I will just, by the way, beyond that, there's some guidance from the SIOP that Dr. Bullis and Dr. Revis, I believe, put together. Some other information for you. There's some information about the South Carolina Practice website, Praxis, and there's some interviewing material. So we'll talk about all this as we go. All right, so here, this is on your main Blackboard shell. You have everything you need. Anything that you have to turn into me is going to go here under assignments or course assessments or team presentation. And actually, your team presentation, this is more of a general information about how to do it. I believe that's listed under course assignments, the very last one. It is. This is where you will enter your presentation, your PowerPoint, as well as your peer review. These are all worth 100 points, except for the marketing plan, which is worth 200, and the digital competency, 100 for the peer review, 100 for the presentation. All right, so yes.
Quick question.
Yes.
So two questions. One is for clarity. For the peer review, you said we can work together, but we all need to submit separate documents.
Right, if one of you even does it, and sends it to the other two, all I need is something for all three of you.
Okay, great. And then the second question is, do you have a process for turning in our PSYOP? So should we send it to Dr. Bullis first? Send it, okay, then to you.
Good question. When you do your PSYOP task 1, task 2, any of the tasks, those go to Dr. Bullis first. And after Dr. Bullis has looked at it and said it looks good, I'll say it's PSYOP task 1, then you send it to me under course assessments for PSYOP task 1. You would just simply click there and you will submit it, and you will write a little memo to me here saying that Dr. Bullis has approved. Now, I will send it back if I don't see that memo that Dr. Bullis has approved. So please make sure that you put that there so we can save us some time. Good question, Janji.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I know some of us have already started working on our SIAP with Barnes in 604. Do we still have to submit it to Bullis if Barnes has already approved it?
You'll have to ask Dr. Bullis that.
I asked that question to Dr. Bullis, and he said that if you'll take a screenshot of your grade that Dr. Barnes gave you and send to him, that he'll accept that.
But what I do want, Cynthia, is for you down here, when you send it to me, task 1, to say Dr. Bullis has approved. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Cynthia. All right. Any more questions? So, excellent point. Thank you for asking that. Dr. Bullis has to see everything under course assessments before I see it, because we look for different things. And do not send anything to TaskStream that I haven't told you it's ready to go, okay? Because when you send it, I want a 4. I don't want a 3 or 3.2 or 3.5 or 3.75. I want a 4. So I want to look at it and give you permission before you turn it in. All right. The weekly calendar is the next thing I want to show you very quickly. If you click on it, you can see you've already done this already. You can see that I have every week kind of scheduled out for us. Dr. Lamb would say, why didn't you have this already loaded at the bottom? So it would just come right up, which would be good advice. So each week, like week 1, our topic, if we get to it, will be to talk about the role of school administrators. Dr. Bullis will probably, I think his plan is to be here next week, unless you're here, Dr. Bullis. Maybe not. Our Zoom dates, if you are, and let me say, this is in a perfect world. When your week is perfect and you get a chance to do the textbooks, the assignments in a perfect world, I will take them whenever you get them to me. The assignments and scenarios are all in the assignment category. When you see this PSYOP, that's under course assessment. So I always tell you where to look for it, the course assessments or assignments. Now, I do want to call your attention to week 8. That's July 4th week. We don't meet. So when we meet on the 29th, we skip over the 6th or whatever night that is, the 6th, and we come back on the 13th. But I do want to remind you, this would be a great week to finish up everything in TaskStream. All right. So, are there any questions? And then, when you click on your class schedule, you'll see, like tonight, again, I've got reiterated some of the things that you need to be working on in a perfect world. I've got the important information for you here. Please go ahead and apply for graduation. I've got my introductory video, a couple of other little things, and that you may want to see. The one thing that I want to cover with you tonight is the role of the principal. This is something that you can bring up on your own. And if you are in North Carolina, you are very familiar with 115C 288. And since all of you will be getting your license in North Carolina, there is reciprocity with South Carolina. But in South Carolina, you have to take the practice exam. In North Carolina, all you have to do is complete the TaskStream requirements. But in North Carolina, and South Carolina is very similar, but we're going to talk about North Carolina tonight. The powers and duties, not the lesson plan, but the powers and duties of the principal are outlined in North Carolina General Statute 115C 288. I suspect Dr. Lamb or someone has already gone over this with you, but North Carolina requires that here are the things that you are required to do as an administrator or principal. Now, if the principal is not on campus or is not there, you are the principal. So here are the things that you're required to do, and it spells them out: to grade students, to make reports, to improve instruction, everything on down to the responsibilities and duties of the principal. So you may want to, if you are in North Carolina, you may want to look at that. We'll talk about South Carolina a little bit later on in the course, but these are the things that are required by law in North Carolina. So if they are required by law in North Carolina, we can only assume that if you don't do them, that's grounds for dismissal. So very important to know what it is that the state expects of our principals to do. The other thing that I want to show you from your Blackboard shell tonight, under class session 1, I have in any one of the courses, in any one of the course weeks that in which we have sessions, there will always be some additional things for you to read. Now, you're not required to, but if you had an extra 5 minutes and you want to read about the 10 challenges facing principals, click on it, read it. If you want to 5 minutes, read about the 21st century skills framework, what makes a good principal, coping strategies for principals. These are just resources that I put in there for you. What you have to do is right here. This is the requirements of what you should do. Everything else, if I don't talk about it, is pretty much what I have selected, some articles or some interesting information for you about principalships and being prepared. I have also included here, this is something that came out a while back, some of the internship hours. Remember, you have to have 80. So here are some of the internship hours that you have to do, some things that you might could do for the summer, since many of you are not in session. So you still have to do those 80 hours. Here's some ideas for you.
Dr. Stone, can I clarify something on that? In the past, for all of our other ones, once we've met our 80 hours, we've been able to start, like I started back in, I think, March or April on my summer hours because I'd already completed all the rest of them. We've been able to do that. Is that still possible now? Or do we have to start fresh like tonight?
If no one has stopped you in the past, far be it from me to stop you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So, and then again, there's some other articles here. Again, it's really about just what you may want to just some interesting things that I picked out that I thought might be relevant to you on your journey toward the principalship. Now, the one thing that I did want to use is our kind of our main topic tonight, which I believe if you saw in the lesson planning, is to look at the 8 major leadership theories and be prepared to discuss them. So here they are. The leadership theories have been around for some time. And remember, this is a course in leadership. This is a course, the final course in the Mels program, in which we want you to be ready for the principalship when that opportunity arises. So there are 8 different types of principals or leaders out there, or theories about leaders, and each one of them has a different kind of take. So we're going to go over them very quickly. And as I am doing that, I'm going to ask someone to give me an example, and it doesn't have to be the person you're working for, someone that we all might know who would be exemplified, who would exemplify this particular theory. Number 1, the great man theory. The great man theory is that you are born to lead. You're born on the right side of the track. Your parents are the right color. They have the right amount of money. Everything is perfect. You are born to lead. Anybody have an example? And you probably have to go back in history to name me somebody who just kind of, or, well, I guess you really wouldn't. Can you give me an example of someone who was just born? I mean, it was just everything was right. They were just in the right place. Of a great theory, a great man theory. Basically, you're born into it. All right, I'm going to give you this one, but you're going to have to help me with the others. Think about someone like colonial times, like George Washington, or these folks who grew up in these colonial homes with everything. They had the education. Their parents did that everything for them. It was expected, the colonial leaders, it was expected that because you grew up wealthy, you grew up a landowner, that you became a leader. George Washington is an example. If you're looking for a modern example, think of the royalty. Think of Prince, who is it? Who's in line for after the Queen dies? Prince Charles. They're born for it. I mean, they may be the worst person in the world, but because they are born to lead, they are born into certain circumstances, they are born to lead. We don't buy much into this one anymore, thank goodness. By the way, if we did, this was a very gender and race specific theory, because if you are born with everything, it means that if you're born with a silver spoon, it already says a lot about your background. All right, trait theories is that it's very similar to the great man, except that because of your background and because of how you grew up, that there are just certain traits that pass on from your parents to you. A great example, again, you could go back to any of the colonial leaders that we look up to. You could look to like the Bushes as presidents, or you could look to the Clintons. I mean, these dynasties or these families who have, because of where they grew up, they have developed certain traits that they get during their life that they become good leaders. All right, we're almost out of time, so I'm going to move on through these. I'm not going to ask you to participate tonight, but next week you've got to participate more. Contingency theories is basically a theory that people will rise to the occasion, that there's a particular style that will meet that situation, that would make, like, it's just a perfect combination of here's the great crisis that we have, and here's the right person to take care of it. But the next crisis, this person may be the worst person to take care of it. All right, so it's all contingent upon the certain skills you have now and the certain crises or the certain thing that we need at this point. Situational is very clearly, situational leadership is similar, but it is that there are certain people who are just right for the situation. There are certain times when we need that strong, shut up and sit down leader. I'm in charge, you're the follower. And then there are certain times when we need someone who, let's talk about it. So the situation dictates what kind of traits we need at that particular time. Was there a question?
I was thinking for that theory, our last Secretary of Defense, Mattis.
He probably would. He certainly would. All right, and by the way, I don't look at chat very much because so if you have a question, please just interrupt or let me know. All right, the next one is behavioral theories, and that theory is, again, that people have certain behaviors that are just right for it. They have a strong personality. They have the mental, or they have certain behaviors that we're looking for and we need for a particular situation. That could be any kind of general, any kind of military is where you usually find these two. A lot of military leaders, Alexander the Great, a lot of people who have the behavioral theories and situational theories.
Dr. Stone?
Yes.
What about pastors?
Oh, yes, definitely pastors. And pastors are all over the place. It all depends on who the pastor is. But when I think of pastors, I think of relationships and behavior, but sometimes situational. You know, a pastor is called to a certain church because he needs to be they're looking for a certain type of personality. All right, the next one is participative, and this is one who is really gather the group around. This is a lot of people think of this person as someone who has to have 5 or 6 different opinions before they make a decision. They have to have a lot of people at the table. This is kind of what we're pushing people toward now, bringing in as many people as you can. The management theory, a manager is someone who just simply gets it done. It needs to be done. A lot of military fall under this. A lot of politicians fall under this one. It needs to be done. Here's what we have to do. And then relationship theories, which is the last one, is probably the one that I would put most of our ministers, most of our people of faith, most of our school people. It's about relationships. It's knowing who to grow in this position, who to go to. It's kind of building the relationships and building people up, and then pulling talents from each and every one of them. If you are interviewing for a position as a principal, I would certainly want you to go in as a relationship type person, unless you know the school situation is dire and they're looking for somebody who can come in and clean house. Then I probably wouldn't do relationships. I would probably go under management, or I would go under situational. So that's why it helps to know what kind of school you're going to, as to when they ask you what's your leadership style. If it's a good school and they're doing well, my leadership style is participative or relationships or a combination of both, because that's what they need. All right, I'm going to stop there and stop sharing because my time is up, because we do try to end at 6:45 if you join me on time. So are there any questions for me? And let me look at chat to see if I am not, Chris.
Dr. Stone,
Yes.
on the on assignment 1, what is your why? Are you wanting us to write our why, or what are we going with that?
All right, I'm your why. Tell me what motivates you professionally, personally. What motivates you?
Okay, thank you.
And tell Dino I said, hey, Christy. How do you know Dino?
Yes, sir.
Dr.
Um,
Stone, go ahead. What is the difference in assignment 1 and assignment 2?
All right, let me pull that up.
Where it said, I think it's assignment 2. Hold on, maybe I'm wrong.
There are 2 that are related to your why. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes. Tell in your own words why you want to be a leader. And then assignment 1 said, what is your why? So are they both the same thing, or?
Is it assignment 2 that you're talking about?
Yeah, I just want to know what the difference is between what is your why and then why you want to be a leader. Is that
okay? Well, your why could be. All right. I don't want you to copy this, everybody. But my why is that I'm motivated by seeing students or people being successful. I'm motivated by. Your why is what really motivates you. Why you want to be a principal is why do you want to be in that particular position. So they are different. I know your why is probably about kids, making kids be successful. But remember, as a principal, your daily contact with the students is not teaching them reading, writing, math, and all that. It's something different. So there is a difference. Did that explain it?
I think so. I think so.
Because your why, because most of you are coming at this from a perspective of a classroom teacher. So your why is, I want to see children smile. I want to see them be successful. Why do you want to be a principal? You definitely want all those things, but there's more to being the principal than what the classroom teacher might be. Does that help?
I think so. I think I can adjust it.
So I heard you say for the assignment 1 that it was your personal and professional. And so we know that there's always, personal, your family is going to be part of the reason why you're doing certain things you're doing. So is that something that is okay to include?
Oh, yeah. And honestly, truly, I would be extremely disappointed under assignment 1, unless you've already turned it in. Your why is really what motivates you, gets you out of bed in the morning. And it may have nothing to do with school. It may be that little 5-year-old girl, daughter of yours. It may be you want your parents to be proud of you. I mean, you're actually in assignment 1, I'm really expecting you to go into your personal more. And assignment 2 is really, okay, how do you elaborate on that when you become that leader outside of the classroom? Yeah, you're right. I expect to see a lot of personal stuff in assignment 1.
Okay, that's what I need. Thank you.
And has this got to be written a certain way then, with formatted, or for the assignments 1 and 2 as far as format?
Just the paragraphs, correct English. Okay. APA style 7 is when the only thing you need APA style 7 for is your PSYOP. In class, we're informal. The best way to get in touch with your team members, I will send you all an email with your Garner web address. And so if you should be able to capture that and get in touch with your team members. How about that? All right. All right. My time is, yes.
Are all of our assignments expected to be 1 page, or like as long as we answer, or?
As long as you answer it, but now I want more than a paragraph. Yeah.
Right.
But no, I'm not measuring the page and counting the number of words. All right, I will see you all next week, and I look forward to it. And go ahead and start sending me some stuff to grade. All right, Guy, I'm not sure what you're asking. but we can talk about that later, maybe.
My, I started a different cohort, so we were using APA 6. No, I don't know why I put MLA, but we were 6. Can I continue to use 6? Because I know it was grandfathered in.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Any questions, Christy? All right.